Hello, moving on with our final example problem, module 4, notes on selected case control structure and the message box. This is a lot of information that's going to go on. So I'm in Canvas right now, and you can see I'm going to be jumping to the web resource, and you see the notes on selected case structure and message box as I work through this module with you. But you'll also see something down below, a link where it says X on editor. All right, and that's going to be dealing with trying to create a icon, being able to create an icon. And we're actually going to be putting an icon on our form today that I have pre-made. But there's going to be we'll get down to the assignment section, ability to create your own icon and put that on a form. And I'm going to jump to there first. I'm going to jump to there and just dabble on the icon before I actually get on to the notes, and I'll be quick about this. So if I right now jump to the web resource page, I'm on module 4 and I scroll down and I'm talking about this X on editor, and there's tons of different type of icons you can online icons that you can tap into that are free, and you can make an image. But I'm just going to use this one right here because I've used it, I've tested it, it works, and it seems pretty effective. And I'm just going to roll through it, so just jump through it because we get down to these assignments down below here. I'm going to be actually asking you to create your own icon to put it within the form. So if you feel like you want to use another one, most certainly you can, but I'm just going to dive into this one. And so I think I have this icon here already. And so obviously, I jump over here. This is basically what the application looks like when you get there, X icon editor, and you see a little palette here in front of you, and you can dabble in like with a paintbrush, or like if I wanted to make a person for a second, a stick man, you can see how you can create a stick man here, of such. Okay, so by all means, that's one way. You can do that. You can use the editor to move around different things. But I'm going to try to import one, and I've already have an image to just show you the import method. So if I go import, and I've already made like an image that I'm going to try to capture on my hard drive just to show you how you could do it real quick. But you can most certainly create one yourself. So I'm once again, I'm clicking on this upload an image. I found an image. I downloaded an image from the internet, and I'm just going to use a snowman. Okay, so I'm clicking on the snowman right here, and the snowman is then going to import it in. I'm going to have to stretch this out to see how far I want it. The square here, and then I go okay, and it's going to bring that snowman in. So as you can see here, the image that I captured, I was able to bring it in. Obviously, this clear button, if you want to start a new palette, you have to hit the clear button to get the stuff in. So there's an export mechanism that all you have to do is click on the export, and then it will take it to the download folder. If I go to my download folder real quick and look at my download folder right here, I downloaded already, and you can see the icon right there. So I can move it into my programming folder now. So going back to the web page real quick, and to wrap this up, I will be asking you at some point in time when we get into our assignment, if I go back over to the web resource, like the case 1 and 2, there's an Exxon editor right here, and there's others on the marketplace that you can use. I want you to dabble on creating an icon for your application. And in this example problem, which we're going to be getting in today, I'm going to be already giving you guys the icon that's going to be used. But in the future, I'm just reviewing this editor with you that you can see how you can create one. And there's tons on the marketplace that you potentially can use. Okay, so I'm back over here on the web resource page, dealing with the notes now. Just went over the editor and how you can make an icon. This example problem, I'm not asking you to make one. Again, you may be asked in the future assignment, case 1 and 2. So I'm going to go ahead and launch these notes now. Notes on the case, select the case in the message box. So there's a lot of things going on with this example problem. I'm rolling out how to write a program using the case structure, and then also getting into MessageBox. First, the case structure. As we're coming off our last example problem where we may have had like 3 ifs, a structure that had 3 ifs. If the student age was less than 16, if the student age was 16, or student age was greater than 16, the output would have been different. But what if we start getting into programs that there are multiple ifs or multiple selections that could potentially happen? And I'm going to, in this example problem, I'm going to be using like a concession stand, a school concession stand. And I'm sure you guys have all been to one and maybe have purchased. Like they have a lot of stuff there, but I mean, not a lot. Like these football games, you go and you may want to buy popcorn, or you may want to buy a slice of pizza, you may want to buy a soda, you may want to buy a lollipop, you want to buy some candy or candy bar. Okay, so in terms of making decisions, we can build an application maybe with the combo box by clicking on these different items and clicking enter to see how much it costs. And so if a person buys a hot dog, a candy bar, and a soda pop, those are 3 things that may have different prices to them. And this is what this is all about. Okay, so we have a structure here that says case selection. I'm just using a combo box property in this example, and this is just a case 1, case 2, case 3. I'm keeping it simple. But when you have, like, let's say 10 items, there could be 10 different things somebody could buy. So there would be case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever those are called. Okay, and so I'm just giving it in a small picture of potentially 3 different expressions here, which may have a total. So you may have, if somebody wants a soda pop, the item times, let's say a soda pop is $1. If somebody wants a popcorn, let's say popcorn 75 cents. Okay, item times 75 cents. So the statement down here would probably be doing some sort of multiplication in terms of arithmetic. No different than a shopping cart, folks, like on Amazon or some shopping center where you buy an item and it's putting it in the queue. Okay, so a case structure in that facet. That's what we're going to be getting to in this program, and this is an example of the flow chart with that in terms of how it would look. And I'm now moving on with the message box, and I'm going to be presenting the message box to you in this example problem to display a message when you didn't click on an item in the combo box. Okay, I'm sure you guys been to websites where you filled out the form, you push submit, and it bumps you back on there, and you forgot to type something in like your phone number, or you forgot to type something in like your address. All right, and it notifies you of that error on the web page. Well, this is operating the same way. Okay, and the message box is like when you hit the enter button and you're supposed to have select one of the items in the combo box and you didn't, it should give you a notification. Hey, you forgot something. Okay, you forgot to select an item. So here is the MessageBox.Show is the key method function that will load a message box. Now, what's inside the parentheses, there's like kind of 4 different items that need to show up to support items in the message box. All 4 items don't have to be there, but you need to support them. Okay. In the first one, in the first item, what you see in quotes here, I just made this up. It could be anything. I said combo box item is missing. And so as you can see the code here, as I'm drawing my attention to, and I can maybe use some notations here. Let me give me some notations on here real quick. Spotlight, and you can see the message box that show combo box item is missing. So what is inside quotes there is actually going to appear on the box of the message box. Okay, you could type anything inside the quotes. I'm just typing combo box item is missing. So it then goes on to the second item, and the second item is you have to put a comma, and then you have another quoted items, and what's in the quoted items will appear on the title of the little message box, and it says user combo box error. I made that up. You could just say combo box error, or it's like or whatever you're referring to that is missing. Okay, so you're not defined to one type of message box. You can put your own lingo in there, but I wanted it to support user combo box error, comma, quotation user box. So the message box now has two line items. You can see it's the caption on top of the title bar. Okay. Then if you enter the following, which I'm now moving on the message box buttons dot okay cancel. There are many different methods that you can put here. And if I scroll down here, you can do abort, retry, ignore. You can do okay. You can do okay cancel, which I'm supporting here. Retry, cancel, yes, no, cancel. So these are going to be the different buttons that you can actually house on the message box. So the third line item is actually dealing with what kind of buttons you want to appear on the message box. So yeah, there's set controls that you can use to do that. And so the fourth line item is I think it's actually optional as well, but that is dealing with some sort of icon. You could put an icon on the message box. And so I'm using icon.error. Okay, so we would need a comma with this description here, and you can see you have .information.error, .explanation.question. All right, and so I'm using with the comma, and I have message box icon.error. So that then would complete what should house inside a message box. Okay, so I've given you notes. I need you to go to notes and review this a little bit more thoroughly as an example to lead into our example problem that I'm about to get into right now. Okay, I'm now going to be moving on with example problem 4. If you can take the time in the next couple minutes, if you have to pause this video, to go ahead and start and launch a window application like you normally have. Since Module 2, we've been working on Windows application Module 2, Module 3, and now in Module 4. Just go ahead and launch it and call it example problem 10. So since this year started, we've done 10 example problems, okay? So with that said, as you can see here, I'm now getting into talking about trying to create a application based on a concession and you guys building a concession. Now, a couple things you're going to need, and I know I'm teaching a couple classes here at Battlefield and Potomac. You're going to need to download these icons, okay, or one of them, okay? If you're a Battlefield student, go ahead and try to download this icon. This is the icon that's already created. I don't want to spend time creating an icon right now. You can try to download it and get it into your Module 4 program. If you're a Potomac student, try to download this icon and get this into your Module 4. Eventually, you're going to be importing this icon into the form. And you can see, if I scroll down here real quick and show you what the form looks like, and you see that icon, import a new icon. We're going to be trying to import your school icon into that form area. So if I just backtrack a little bit, and I'm going to jump right into the flow chart. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, part of this example problem is going to have you creating a flow chart. And to date, this is probably one of the biggest flow charts you did. Maybe going back to the tip calculator when you had to create a flow chart back in the beginning of the year. But I'm going to go ahead and right click and open a new tab and discuss. I'm starting this application by looking at the flow chart of this particular problem. Okay, so you look at it, and man, it looks pretty powerful, pretty big. All right, and I'm going to go down through this with you real quick. Okay, so there's going to be a combo box when this program opens up, and I'm calling this item. What do you mean item? Like like if a customer comes to a concession stand and said, "Hey, what would you like?" Okay. Oh, I would like a soda. I would like a popcorn. One soda and one popcorn. So basically, the item here is a drop-down menu, and you're clicking on the number of items that person wants. But this is a test. If somebody clicks the enter button and there's nothing selected in the combo box of items, then they're going to get a message. And look, if this is true, if it is blank, then a message box will appear. I just wrote down here, error message. A message box will appear in front of the form stating the error. Okay, so you can most certainly click that OK and then make that selection. If that's going to be the case, look how the true path, there's doing nothing on this true path of this application. Whereas if a person's going to click on something, and I have this defined here, S is soda, HD is hot dog, PC is popcorn, CB candy bar, and C may be candy, or I'm not real sure. I got to figure out what C is. Okay, but we'll come back to that. But candy bar is definitely line item, and you can see item times 0.75, item times 1.5. So that's how much these items are actually costing. So when they click on an item like soda or something, it's then going to output that price. This is basically finding the price. And so there is an output of each of the item that they select, okay? So if they select the soda and hot dog, it's going to output those prices, and then you're going to get a total cost. If you can come down here, you can see the total cost down at the bottom. It's going to be adding up all of these to get a total cost. So that basically, it's pretty simple. The structure is more defined when you're dealing with a lot of items that could be selected in terms of manufacturing some sort of if. So I'm going to go back to the program here and just talk a little bit, talk about step one of this form. And I think I very well may have this form built, and I'll on the tail end, I look at it for a second. But right now, I want to talk about this form now. So you can see this is a small form. I'm going to pull up my application in a second, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with your name on, about 8 different labels that's placed down here. Okay, this first control at the top is a combo box. The second control down here then is a number up down. Okay, number up down. So we have a combo box and number up down, and then beside each of these is a of these items that you guys can select, and it could be very more of these items in the concession stand. There's a text box, and what I'm hoping to do during runtime is when I make a selection in the number, it automatically then hit enter here. It automatically puts the total of the items. Of the total of the items. So if the person buys 2 sodas, what's the total of 2 sodas? If a person buys 2 hot dogs, what's the total of 2? So you have the subtotal of all what those items are. So if I scroll down to here, I then have the property window, which very well may help you out. Understand I'm going in order here. If this is text box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, text box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think I have them order with the TXT appropriate name here that you're going to be needing. You can see the combo box I've called CMB items up above here. The icon 2, which is what I brought in and what you can download, or icon 3. So, and I'll show you that here shortly. These are the icons, and it's within the icon, within the form, I should say, there's something that's called icon in the property where you can bring in the icon of this, and then you can see the other buttons 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've renamed them appropriately. Real quick, and I'll touch base both when doing the collection with the items up here. And it's very important with this combo box, there is something that's called items, okay? And you're gonna have to do this within the property, and you're gonna have to actually you're gonna have to type in soda, hot dog, popcorn, candy bar, and I said cookie. That's what the C was for, the cookie. All right. So when I click on this drop-down box arrow right here, the user should be able to see these items. So I'm going to bump myself right now into the application that I believe I have open, and I'm just in the design state. So when I come over here to this combo box and I come down here to items, you see collection here, and I click on this elliptical button and it'll basically open up. Notice how I have typed in soda, hot dog, popcorn, candy, and cookie. And it's very important that how you type it here is the same way you were typing it in the code, okay? Notice how I don't have any spaces after it. And we've done this before, perhaps, and it's not good ideal to add spaces. You type the verbiage and hit enter, type the verbiage, hit enter. And I'm using capital letters, capital H, capital D, capital P, capital C. So it looks clean on the page. Once you've got that on there, you're gonna then hit okay, all right? Now, to get the icon on the form, you can see the icon right there. So if I click on this form, ladies and gentlemen, I scroll down to, or excuse me, find icon, scroll up the icon, there it is right there. So there's, again, a elliptical that if you click on that icon, kind of very similar how you did the picture, and you have to drill in, find where did you have your icon when you downloaded it, okay? So there's a mechanism where you can go into the computer and find that icon and bring it in. I've got the one of the Bobcat displaying right here, all right? So understand the number up and down. It's going to have a preset number during runtime that you can simply hit a 1, 2, 3, 4 and hit those numbers when you're working through. So I think those are the big two concerns when trying to get the proper information plugged in to both of these, the icon with the form and putting in the necessary information within the combo box. So if I go back over to control, I think the notes does a good job in panning out what should be entered in for both of this for step 1 and 2. So you get through this, then I'm now going to then jump down to the code. Moving on with the code in step 3, let me try to work down through this, and I'm on the notes here, folks. I'm looking at the notes and working through the notes. By now, you should have been able to complete step 1 and 2, which is the interface, and get ready for now moving on with the notes. Now, I am for the most part having some variables declared globally. They're not inside any private sub, okay? And the same verbiage that you put inside the combo box within the item, I'm having to use them as well as, and I'm declaring them as all as decimal. So we have soda, comma, hot dog, comma, popcorn, candy bar, comma, cookie, comma, and then total cost. All right, total cost is going to be finding the total cost down below. But the first, ladies and gentlemen, 5 has to be spelled the same way you put them in the combo box, okay? And I do have some verbiage here. This is the if structure that will test, okay? So as we get into this program and the private sub enter button, again, I'm programming the enter button first. And all that's going to do is give you a calculation of the process. So if somebody orders 1 Coke, you're going to go 1 Coke, enter. Somebody orders 1 hot dog, you're going to go click on hot dog, 1 hot dog, enter. If somebody orders 2 popcorns, you're going to go select popcorn and then go 2 and then enter. So there could be potentially all 5 boxes processed with some sort of subtotal here, okay? So that's what we're kind of working on. We're not going to work on the total cost until the very end, all right? So as we get into this if structure right here, I have an internal comment, the if, then, else, and select case structure test. Okay, so what I'm doing a test here is on if the combo box is empty. If you don't have anything in it, like during runtime, it most likely show up being blank here. Okay, if the combo block is empty and you hit the enter button, well, then, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be writing this code here, and a message box will load up stating, hey, you haven't selected anything in the combo box, so please do that first, okay? And so if you can see this if statement, this is following the true path. If this is the case, it'll display it. You as a user allows to hit the OK button and it'll go away, but the program will always all of a sudden go down to the end sub, all right? So as soon as you hit that OK button, it jumps down to the end sub. Now you can then go back during runtime and make a selection, and so the second time perhaps you hit the enter button and you have a selection, and it should then go in the false path. And so now the false path is what I'm talking about, where the select case is now showing up, right? So what we see here, folks, is the control name, the combo items.text. That's the control name. And so select case, it's dealing with the combo box, okay? Because we have our house thing. We have soda. You can see we have soda, we have hot dog, we have popcorn, we have candy bar, and we have cookie. That is the same verbiage that I'm using, and it's in quotes. If you misspelled or typed differently, let's say you type differently hot dog, okay, and you didn't put a space in between hot dog, it's not going to process it correctly, because ladies and gentlemen, how you type hot dog in the selection string here needs to be typed the same way inside the quotation marks. Short and sweet. That's all I got to say. That's how the program is going to work efficiently. You will have errors because it won't identify the proper one you selected. Okay, so you can see how there are 5 cases of soda, hot dog, popcorn, candy bar, and cookie. Okay, so the next tier down, ladies and gentlemen, is then getting in with the math. So if I flop back over to the flow chart again, look, soda, items times 0.175. Look, the item times 0.1. This is doing the math. So if a person bought 2 soda pops, it would have the number 2 times 0.75. Okay, then it's outputting. Look here, the soda pop dot text box is equal to soda. It'll output that output what the soda costs in an output, which will be in that first text box. If one person bought 1 soda, it'll cost 0.75. Okay, so as I proceed on, ladies and gentlemen, hot dog, it's pretty much the same format. Okay, item times 1.5. We're saying a hot dog costs $1.50. Okay, I'm making it simple where the popcorn is a 75 cents, the candy bar is 75 cents. The cookie then is also 75 cents. We can make these prices up, folks. I'm just trying to keep it simple, more realistic, okay? So the second line of each of these cases will display the cost on the form for each of those line items, okay? So once you then complete it and the person says, okay, that's what I want. I only want, let's say, soda and hot dog, and they got you then hit the total bill, and the total bill will then display in this area right here. So by that, you can say find the total bill of the transaction. We're using that total cost, that variable up above that we created as a decimal total cost, and we're adding each of those text boxes. Some of those text boxes may be 0. Okay, person just wanted a soda and hot dog, and so the next 3 variables will be 0, 0, 0 because they're blank. Okay, so as a theoretically, or all of them may have some value. And so the second line, you guys should have been able to see this before. This is an example of putting the total cost in the output box. So the TXT total bill should be this text box right here in terms of working through that. So once again, if I go over to my control application, this text box here will then display the total bill. If a person just bought 1 item and they just bought a soda pop, and you push 1 item soda pop and push total bill, it's only going to be 75 cents. Okay, because that's what basically what they're working do. Now, if these items change a little bit, and the user changes these in the back end, yeah, then it would change. But just trying to keep this simple. So you're going to wrap this up as I come down here and build this application. Ladies and gentlemen, please understand, in this program, you're going to have several things. In example problem number 10, you're going to have the code, you're going to have the form during runtime, and you will have the if selected case flowchart. You're going to be needing 3 things to be turned in on a Word document that's loaded up. Yes, to get full credit, you're going to have the flowchart, the code, and the form submitted on a Word document. So for the most part, this concludes the overview of example problem 10, and should be submitted in Canvas.